First, let's go down to Portland in Dorset, where they are awaiting the arrival of the migrant barge. It's called the Bibi Stockholm, sailing from Italy at the moment. It's going to house more than 500 young male migrants with nothing to do all day. So one would imagine that this is a source of some concern for the local residents. Let's talk to the chair of Portland Town Council, Carralyn Parkes. Good morning, Carralyn.
Good morning. I'd just like to correct you, though. I'm not the chair.
Oh, OK.
Town Council.
OK, but you're on the council.
I'm the Deputy Mayor, and I'm an Underhill Ward councillor.
OK. OK, great. Well, Deputy Mayor, and you're on the Town Council. So, but I mean, mainly, Carralyn, I wanted to talk to you as a resident of Portland. And you have this barge coming towards you. I know you've had a prison ship before, but when you get a prison ship, they're not allowed off. Now, these 500 or so migrants, all young men, will be allowed off whenever they want. By the way, they're closing the doors of the barge, I gather, at 11 p.m. every night. So the mind boggles as to what might happen if they get back, if a group of them get back after 11 p.m. and can't get on board. You know, and I'm sure you're all generous-spirited people, you know, and we've got to put the migrants somewhere, I suppose. But this is the impending arrival of 500 young men milling around with nothing to do every day in every way. That must be a source of concern for the local residents.
I want to make it crystal clear that our opposition as Town Council to this barge is not motivated by any form of anti-asylum seeker or migrant sentiment. If these people come here, they'll be treated with decency, courtesy and respect by our Town Council. This is, for us, is about housing people with...
Yeah, but what about... never mind that, Carralyn. What about the local residents?
I'm just an ordinary...
Yeah, I know. OK, well, I've got that on board. I've got that. Look, if you're going to be like this, what is the point? You know, you're just giving me a political statement about how much you love asylum seekers. Fine. What do the local residents... No, Carralyn, are you going to talk to...
What I've said...
Yeah, I know what you've said.
These human beings come here...
Yeah, we've done all that. What do the locals think about... Well, because you're just saying, you're just giving me platitudes.
You want to hear the view of...
Are you going to answer my question? Are you going to answer my question?
If you want to hear the view of Portland Town Council, then give me an opportunity to speak.
Yeah, well, you're just giving me political platitudes about asylum seekers. I want to... Carralyn.
You're just shouting at me. Why are you shouting at me?
Because you're just saying the same thing. I want to know what local residents think.
Because I'm not saying what you want to hear.
Well, no. You're not saying anything that has any point, except you like asylum seekers. What do local residents think?
We want to treat people with decency.
Yeah, all that, yeah. But what happens when you've got 500 young men not doing anything all day, drinking maybe, causing problems? What do the locals think about this?
I've just told you what the locals think about this. No, I live here.
Yeah.
I've lived here for 25 years.
Yeah.
The people that I've spoken to are appalled at the fact that there may be 500 human beings put in Portland Port.
Quite.
And by the way, you say that they're supposed to be allowed on and off the port. The last time I went to Portland Port, I had to have an appointment. I had to take my passport.
Interesting.
And I had to look in a limited area with a lanyard. Yeah. So don't see how this free access on and off this barge is going to work. I don't see how that's going to happen. The port's a restricted area.
Yeah. Carralyn, we've got
how that's going to work.
This is what I'm interested in. You know, I respect your views about... We all want to be generous-spirited. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of what you were alluding to there, of what the locals feel. There's only 13,000 people in your lovely town, I do believe. You know, 500 young men, you know, with nothing to do. They can't work. They've got all the free time in the world. There's a bar on board this boat. I don't know if you've got pubs in Portland. I'm sure you have as well. And by the way, I should say a lot of them are Muslim, so they probably don't drink. But you see what I'm getting at. You know, that surely locals are worried about the prospect of 500 young males with nothing to do suddenly in your midst.
The worst thing about this is you're talking about our asylums. These people are asylum seekers. We've been told by the government that these people are asylum seekers, that they will be processed, fingerprinted, and all the rest of it. They're asylum seekers. So we're not talking about people who are illegal or migrants. These are people who have some sort of claim to legal process. Our process takes 2 years and more. So you're talking about these people being confined on board this vessel for 2 years and more. It's not a temporary solution. It's not a solution that's going to deal with any kind of migrant crisis over the channel, because we've got 51,000 people.
I know exactly right.
50, okay, well let's unpick that.
Well, no, let's unpick the fact that why has no, don't just talk. Let's unpick the fact. Why has Portland been chosen?
You asked me on here.
Yeah, I know. You're just giving me political platitudes. I'm trying to get to the heart of the local problem.
You're the one who's making all of the nasty political points. You're the one who's
what political points have I made? I'm asking you what the locals think about 500 young men with nothing to do. Well, you're not. You keep saying about processing migrants. What's that got to do with it? What do the locals think? You're a local councillor.
Tell you what the locals think.
What do they think? What do they think? Tell me again.
What the locals think, because the locals think doesn't chime in with your world vision.
No. Tell me what the locals think.
What the locals think, what the people that I've spoken to think, is that having this boat moored in Portland Port is not addressing any kind of problems that the government's created. It's a gimmick. It's all about the May elections. Yeah. The government is trying to...
I agree.
Whole range of nasty populism against human beings who could be incarcerated for up to 2 years. 2 years on a barge.
That they can get on, that they can come ashore anytime they like.
I've already said I don't see how that's going to work.
Well, it's true. It's true. You better get used to it. They are allowed ashore whenever they want. They're not prisoners.
People.
They're not prisoners.
I am not frightened of human beings.
500 young blokes.
I would love if I were in, God forbid, I were in the same situation. To have to seek refuge in another country, for people to treat me with decency, humanity.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, sure. But what do the locals think?
I've told you what the locals...
No, you don't. You've just given me a party political broadcast on the part of the Portland Labour Party, haven't you? What do the locals think?
I've told you.
You've told me about your tremendous humanity and all that. Yeah, I know that.
Underhill residents are humane, decent people. We care about other human beings. That's what Underhill residents do.
Yeah. And what are you going to do about 500 blokes wandering around your town?
There's nothing the Portland Town Council can do in any...
Well, what do you feel about it?
We've had no consultation.
Aren't you angry, Carralyn, that they chose you?
We've had no consultation.
I know, exactly. Now we're talking.
This has been between Portland Port and the Home Office.
So are you angry at that exclusion? You must be angry about that.
No consultation.
Are you angry about that?
The authority...
Please tell me whether or not you're angry about that.
I'm angry. I'm angry about...
Thank you.
The lack of humanity...
Oh, God.
...displayed by this government.
Yeah. Are you angry that they've chosen, almost at random, your town to impose 500 young men on? Are you angry about that?
What I was trying to say to you before is that There's 51,000 people in.
Yeah. What about the 500 that are coming to Portland?
You're going to need
Stop talking about the rest of the country.
100 of these barges to accommodate people on. So Portland.
There's only one. There's only one. There's only one barge, and it's coming to Portland.
There's another one talked about in Liverpool as well.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't. There isn't a migrant barge in Liverpool. So let's get the facts right, shall we? There's only one barge, and it's coming to Portland.
There isn't one in Portland yet either. Yeah, they're talking about one in Liverpool as well.
Yeah, well, it's not in Liverpool, and it's not going to Liverpool. Well, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
You're being ridiculous. Have you actually watched yourself?
Huh?
You're shouting at me.
Huh? Well, I'm just trying to get you to answer a single question. You don't seem to be at all.
You haven't liked my answers. You haven't wanted.
Yeah, because you haven't answered.
Well, okay, ask me a question.
Oh, I've been asking you questions, Carralyn, for 15 minutes. You haven't answered a single one.
I've answered all of your questions.
What about healthcare infrastructure in Portland?
Now let's talk about infrastructure. Portland has one GP surgery.
Right.
We have one road on and one road off the island. We don't have a hospital. We don't have the infrastructure to care for people with
for the 500 migrants that are coming your way.
Complex needs. Yeah. People who have mental health issues arising from whatever torture or ill treatment that they've run away from, or other health problems. We just don't have that infrastructure.
Yeah. So when the 500 migrants come here, the infrastructure of Portland is going to be under almost an impossible strain, right?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. So are you angry about this? Are you worried about this?
I'm angry and annoyed that our government in the 21st century would consider doing this to other human beings. That's what I'm angry.
What, putting them on a barge with a bar and snooker tables?
Confining 500 human beings.
They're not confined, Carralyn. They're not confined.
You obviously haven't read any.
I have read. Yet they are allowed to come into it. They're allowed off the boat. They're not confined. They're not prisoners.
But what the Home Office have said is that they're going to minimise the need for these asylum seekers to leave the lodge. That's what they've said. And there's curfews, so it's not freedom of movement.
Yes, it is. It is.
Another form.
I think, Carralyn, you're up for a rude awakening when this barge actually docks and you get the 500 migrants on that barge. They will be allowed into your town. They'll be allowed to do whatever they like. Quite rightly, they're not prisoners. So you better brace yourself, and then maybe you can come back and tell me what you think about it all. But it's been fun talking to you, Carralyn. Thank you very much for your time. Carralyn Parkes there, Deputy Mayor of Portland Town Council. I mean, what do you think? Should she be a bit more annoyed about it? I think she should.